This is Dipankar Prakash Rai, Faculty of Pol Science, and today I'd just like to have brief overview of political science to you all children. Well, before I begin, just a few things to share with you all. Okay, during the phase of lockdown, this pandemic, well, the present batch, the board examinations that's going on for the ICSE 2020, you children, okay, I just hope that this has been a kind of blessing in disguise for you all. Well, there has been a long gap. Well, I hope all of you have prepared well and have been working well for the leftover examinations. Make sure that all of you would do well. And in humanities, as I'm the faculty of Pol Science, just to tell you a few things, children, humanities would be a wonderful, wonderful field of study, right? And political science is one of the major subjects that you can opt as in class 11. It is a wonderful subject. You have to understand the basics of this subject, and trust me, none of you are going to regret about this subject. Well, having said that, as in class 11, there are certain things that you'll have to look into account, right? And for that, you'll have to see over here. Firstly, political science as a subject, the primary objective of the subject, please have a look at the aims, all right? By taking up this subject, we look forward to make sure that you learn about the basic forms of the state and the government. All right? We want you all to learn about the basic concepts about your rights and the duties, which is so important. And moreover, living in a democratic country like ours, India, the world's largest democracy, it's so important to know not just about your rights, but your duties as well. Okay? All right. Other than that, learning about the world history, learning about the international relations as in political science, okay, you will be learning or rather developing the basic concepts of what the world is like or what the countries around the world is like. So children, it's very, very important that you shall follow these things in political science. Furthermore, as in Pol Science, to tell you about the examination pattern, right, the board examination pattern, here are a few things which I'd like to share with you all. Please have a look, okay? You see here, paper 1, theory, that is of 80 marks, and paper 2, project work, 20 marks. When I say this, the theory of 3 hours, 80 marks, children, it's so important that you have to know these things well. Firstly, in paper 1 theory 80 marks, what happens is it will be divided into 2 sections, section A and section B. I repeat, section A and section B. In section A, there shall be 5 questions, okay? And out of 5 questions, you shall be doing 3. I repeat, 3 questions you will have to do out of 5 questions. And in section B, what you have to do is you shall be doing 2 questions out of 3. So please have a look here once again. 3 questions out of 5 and 2 questions out of 3 from section A and section B. That is for the paper 1. Furthermore, in paper 1, first half, part 1, what happens is this. You will be having compulsory questions which all of you have to answer, okay? In part 1, that'll fetch you 20 marks. And there shall be 10 questions which is compulsory. And that is basically to test your knowledge, your application, and the skills relating to elementary fundamental aspects of the entire syllabus. That means your 10 short questions, which every question will fetch you 2 marks, will be covering the entire syllabus, and that is compulsory for you all. And in section B, as in part 2, which I've already referred to you all, where you shall be doing 3 questions out of 5, and 2 questions out of 3. Furthermore, in this part 2, let me add few things here. Every question has 2 parts, okay? For instance, for question number 1, you shall be having question number 1, A and B. And every question will fetch you 6 marks each. I repeat, 6 marks each. 6 plus 6, that makes it 12. So 12 into 5 as in total, okay, that makes it 60, and 20 from the part 1, that makes it 80. So paper 1, 80 marks, that is going to be for 3 hours. Number 1. Number 2, you shall have your project work that is going to be for 20 marks. So I hope I'm just clear about this first 2 papers which you shall have as in the political science examinations, as in your board examinations. All right? So this is it. Okay? So now let's look into the next portion over here. Well, as I was just telling you, Section A covers the political theory. Children, briefly, I'd like to give you the account or the basic syllabus portion that we have as in pol science. All right? So have a look over here. As in political theory, you'll be learning about the first aspect that is about the meaning, scope, and nature of political science. Okay? What is political science all about? The basic scope of political science. Why do we study political science? And is political science a science or not? Something very, very interesting. And I'm quite sure you children will be doing very well. All right, let's come to the next part over here. The basic concepts, the fundamental concepts, which are so important. Please look here. You learn about the state, the government, nation, and nationality. Now, when I say state, what are the basic elements of the state? How the state is formed? These are the things that we look into this. Or what is government? What kind of governments that we have in around the world? What kind of government that we have in India or in United Kingdom or United States of America or around the world? That is what we see here. Okay? We study here about the nation and the nationality. It's something very interesting and intriguing, children. Next, we study about the origin of the states. And when I say origin of the states, see children, today we are, as in India, we are in the world's largest democracy and we have the parliamentary form of state. But now, how the state evolved, how the state was formed, there are various theories. Like for instance, the divine origin theory, the state being created by God, the belief that people have. Number 1, we talk about the social contract theory as laid down by the great political thinkers like Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau. So children, we see here, okay, divine origin theory, the social contract theory as by Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau. And of course, the evolutionary theory, the most widely accepted theory as in relation to the origin of the state. Very, very important, and I would say very, very interesting. Okay? Further, please have a look here. We deal here, or rather we study about various political ideologies. For instance, liberalism, socialism, communism, fascism. Trust me children, it's going to be very, very interesting. When we talk about communism, who are the people who really, upheld the theory of communism? We study about Karl Marx. We study about socialism. We study about fascism. I'm sure you all have studied about fascism at least in 10. All right? We talk about liberalism. These are some of the basic concepts which you are expected to know. Very, very interesting. Further, sovereignty. Very interesting part about sovereignty again. Well, when I talk about sovereignty, it's so important, children. I'm sure we live in a sovereign nation, India. Okay? Absolute power, absolute independence, and the kinds of sovereignty. These are basic things that we have in this. Further, we study about law, the meaning, the sources, the kinds. We study about liberty, of course, the meaning again, the dimensions, and of course the relation between liberty, law, and the safeguards of liberty. Children, I'm quite sure everybody in this world today look forward to have this basic concept of liberty. Without liberty, there is rather no meaning of life. So liberty is so important. And liberty gives us this, the growth in us. Liberty gives us an opportunity to be a real person. Well, we study about liberty and of course equality and justice. The basic tenets, okay? And based upon this, you can understand, you have learned as in history, some of the world's biggest revolutions have taken place. French Revolution, American War of Independence, and not to forget, of course, our very own struggle for freedom, Indian independence, fight against, or struggle against the British. These were the basic pillars on which were fought. You see here again, liberty, equality, justice, basics. So this portion, it's so important that you have to do, or rather we do as in political science. This covers section A, and as in section B, children, this is primarily, we actually, we study as in sync with history, and it covers the most of the portions of international relations. Okay, so we go simultaneously with history, and these are some of the topics that we do as in pol science. You see here, we study here about the basic nature and the birth and the end of Cold War. I'm sure you all have at least done the basics as in class 10 about what is Cold War like. Okay, I hope you all have learned about at least a bit about communism and capitalism, the difference that went on after you can say the Second World War, the difference that went on as between United States of America and Russia. All right, so what we study over here as in this portion is about the nature before the birth and end of Cold War in the 20th century. Further, we study here the impact on the world order. With Cold War, how did it affect the world? These are the basic things that we study. All right, and in this, you'll have to do something very important, that is disintegration of Soviet Union. That means with the Cold War, with the effect and how Soviet Union or USSR, it disintegrated. Okay, and in this, you have to study about relation between India and Russia as well after the Cold War. You can see there impact on the world order and Indian-Russian relations after the Cold War. Something interesting, something intriguing. Well, further, we have to study here about unipolar world. And when I say unipolar world, uni, that is one. With the disintegration of Soviet Union, one country emerged as superpower in the entire world, and that is none other than United States of America. Okay, so we have to study here about US unilateralism. Okay, after this, what we cover here, it's about the regional cooperation. In regional cooperation, okay, we study about ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and of course European Union. How these countries of ASEAN or the European Union, all right, how these countries, they came together, all right, to help each other and to develop themselves in the post-Cold War era. So it's something very, very nice to learn. And of course, last but not the least that we have in this portion is non-alignment movement. Okay, and when I talk about non-alignment movement, you will have to study about India's role. Okay, of course, along with India, there were countries like Yugoslavia, okay, or Indonesia, which were primary members of non-alignment movement. They were non-alignment partners, but primarily you'll have to study the role of India. Indian role has been really immense in establishing this non-alignment movement. This is what we do here. So children, I think I've just been able to give you the overview or the basic syllabus that we cover as in political science. But at the same time, I'd like to add one more thing. As I've already said, 80 marks theory and 20 marks shall be your project. See here, I've written here paper 2, project work, 20 marks. Children, when I talk about project, okay, you're expected to make a good project with proper research and study, right? I don't know, of lately we've seen the trend where we have seen most of the children, they go on with the copy and paste mode. One child would do one project and many of the children would be copying the same. No, that should not be your objective. Your objective should be to have the proper study and research over any of the topics that you may take. Well, having said that, please look here. What you are expected to do is, it could be any one of these. You see here, it could be a case study. Number one. Number two, you may have the survey of any of the instances, any of the political issues, any of the political movements whatsoever, and of course with a proper questionnaire, where of course your teachers or we or I may be able to help you later. Next, you will be doing a proper research, which I said to you, based on the project with in-depth analysis. That means you have to study, you have to have a proper research and analyze whatever project that you have taken. Next thing, it could be a local, national, global political issue. So it could be anything. It could be a local, it could be whatever has happened in Darjeeling Hills. It could be as in Indian context, or it could be international. So it can be anything, but you have to do it in a proper manner. Well, other than that, you can look into the book review or the film. Okay, you can look into documentaries, the posters, newspapers, advertisements, cartoons, art, etc. It could be anything. So it could be your book review or film or anything that you may want to take up. Lastly, children, it's important. You see this. Students are encouraged to produce original, creative, and insightful perspective on an allied aspect of the topic. That means it should not be copy and paste, as I said to you. So it's important, children, you produce something original that is yours. You study, you have a research on any of the topics. It could be local, it could be national, it could be international, it could be a book review, it could be a cartoon, it could be a newspaper cuttings, whatsoever, but you're expected to do something on your own. Well, these were the basic things that we have in political science. But lastly, before I leave, children, I would say one thing. Whenever you take up humanities, always have one feeling in you. You have taken humanities out of your choice. Many people have this tendency. I did not get science or commerce, and I dropped down to humanities. That should not be a concept. Your objective or your concept should be, no, we rise in humanities. We do well in humanities, and trust me, you will enjoy every bit of humanities and, of course, political science. Well, having said that, thank you, children. Hope to see you all soon. Take care. Thank you.
Hello and namaste to all my dear students and to all the viewers who are watching this episode. So as you all know that we have started online classes for class 11 also. So I'll be taking mathematics. So in this first episode, we are going to discuss the syllabus of class 11 mathematics. I'm going to give you a connection. I'm going to tell you the connection between class 10 and class 11. There are certain chapters which are same, and there are certain chapters which you will be doing for the first time. So I'm gonna get into that detail. So first, let us try to understand the syllabus, the distribution of marks. Since the most important part out here is the syllabus has the distribution of marks has changed. That means no longer you get 100 marks for theory. Now mathematics, ISC mathematics for 11 and 12 has become theory is 80 and project is 20. Is that clear? So let us begin. So as you can see, class 11, 20, 21 an overview, and the subject is mathematics. So as you can see, there will be two papers in the subject. One is paper 1, I've already talked about, theory, that is 3 hours, 80 marks, and paper 2, project work, 20 marks. Now let us discuss the theory part. Paper 1 theory, 80 marks. The syllabus is divided into 3 sections. Last class, if you have just gone through my last class also, for class 12, I've told you the pattern remains same. Section A, Section B and Section C. So Section A is compulsory for all candidates irrespective of commerce or science. Candidates will have a choice of attempting questions from either B or C. That there is a choice. So either you do Section B or you do Section C. So if you look at it this way, Section B deals with topics which are important for science student, and Section C deals with topics which are important for commerce students. So the choice is yours. So there will be one paper of 3 hours duration of 80 marks. So section A, 65 marks. Previously it was 80 marks. Now it has come down to 60 marks. 65, sorry. Candidates will be required to attempt all questions. Internal choices will be provided in 2 questions of 2 marks, 2 questions of 4 marks, and 2 questions of 6 marks each. This is new. So section B, section C is 15 marks. So previously it was 20. Now it has been brought down to 15. So from here, whatever I read, let me explain it to you. So previously the theory was 80. Now the theory paper is 80 marks. Previously it was 100. Now the remaining 20 is for project. So theory is 80. Then we have 3 sections. Section A is the most important. This carries the maximum marks, 65. Previously it was 80, 20 or 20. Now it's 65. Section B is 15. Previously it was 20. And section C, it is also 15. So there's a choice between B or C. So let me explain it to you one more time. The reason why I'm emphasizing is this is the syllabus, the pattern has changed from this year. So that is why to know the distribution of marks is very important for you all. Theory is 80, project is 20. Next, theory is divided into 3 parts. Section A is 65, section B is 15 and section C is 15. So you got a choice. You either attempt B or C. In section A, there are 3 parts: short answer, medium and long answer, and in between those questions also internal choices will be given. So now let us understand the distribution of section A. So as you can see in the slide, distribution of marks for the theory paper. The first chapter is sets and functions. Just have a look. I'm going to explain that in detail. Sets and function you get for 20 marks, and this is a very important topic because this will cover the maximum weightage, because in this particular chapter you got trigonometry. Trigonometry is very important for class 11. It's a continuation of class 10. Some formulas are going to be same, and you are going to learn more and more formulas in order to solve questions on trigonometry. Moving on, algebra. Algebra carries the maximum marks, 24, because in algebra there are 4 to 5 chapters which we are going to discuss in detail. Then we got coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry, this is also a continuation of class 10. Straight line, we have done straight line in class 10. Section and distance formula, centroid, all those are there in coordinate geometry. The only extra thing that they have added is circles. Now calculus, this is a very important and a new thing for you, and this will be very important for class 12. When you reach class 12, calculus will fetch you 40 marks. From calculus you are going to get 40 marks. Okay, now for class 11 you just need to understand the basics of calculus and you just get 6 marks from this. And next is statistics and probability, again a chapter which was done in class 10. Probability. What is probability? Probability is the number of favorable cases divided by total outcome. The same formula will be applicable out here also. So you are going to get this for 7 marks. So this is regarding section A. So let me write down the chapters which we will be doing in class 11 from section A. As I've already told you, section A is very important because this carries the maximum marks, 65 marks. So now let us discuss each topic in detail. The first one is sets and function. So from here, what you need to understand, what you need to learn is the basic concept of sets. Then you need to know relation and then function. Relation and function. So set function is for 20 marks. So normally you just get 4 to 6 marks from set, relation and function. The remaining 16 to 14 marks will be entire on trigonometry. Trigonometry, the remaining 14 to 16 marks from trigonometry. Trigonometry, you have to learn the formulas and you must learn how to apply it in detail. The reason why trigonometry is very important is we'll be using formulas on trigonometry for calculus, that is for derivative and integration, and that is very important for class 12. So from trigonometry you can expect 14 to 16 marks. So next is algebra. Algebra is scoring part, because out here the questions are straightforward. That means there aren't many variations. From algebra there are few chapters which I'm gonna name it. The first one is quadratic equation. This was done in class 10. Quadratic equation. It's just that in class 10 the discriminant, what is the discriminant? Under root b square minus 4ac was always positive. Now we are going to discuss questions in which the discriminant is negative, imaginary roots. Quadratic equation, then complex number. Complex number means a number system is divided into real number and complex number. Real number means all those natural number that we got: whole, natural, integer, rational, irrational. Complex number means any negative number inside a square root is called a complex number or an imaginary number. Complex number, then we have mathematical induction. This is a new chapter which you will be doing in class 11. This will help you prove statements. Instead of proving one term at a time, this will help you prove the entire statement by using assumptions. Quadratic equation, complex number, permutation and mathematical induction, another chapter which you have already done in class 10, AP and GP. So this one you can easily do because the formulas is going to be same and the problems are also going to be same. So another scoring topic for you, AP and GP. Next we have binomial theorem. Binomial theorem means it's a very interesting topic. Like, see, you know from your junior classes, a plus b whole square. What is a plus b whole square? It's a square plus 2ab plus b square. So you know the formula, but you don't know how you got the formula. So binomial theorem, when I do binomial theorem, I'm going to explain how that formula, how we can write down those formulas. Whenever there are two terms, binary means two terms to the power of a constant. So we have to deal with binomial theorem. Next is probability. Next, which you have to do is quadratic equation, complex number, mathematical induction, AP, GP, binomial theorem, and a very important topic for class 11 science students, it's permutation and combination. We got a lot of practical uses from this particular topic, permutation and combination. Permutation and combination is basically arrangements. This will teach you how to arrange in how many ways. Like, for example, I give you a word, ran. So if I ask you with the 3 letters how many words can be formed, it need not make sense, but how many words can be formed. So those type of problems can be solved through permutation and combination. So it has got a lot of practical applications. So that is why mathematics is very important, because it deals with everyday day-to-day life. Understood? You can solve practical problems using mathematics, permutation and combination. So this is algebra. We got inequation also, but we don't get many questions from this. We have done this in class 10 also. So these are the chapters, important chapters on algebra: quadratic, complex number, induction, AP, GP, binomial theorem, permutation and inequation. So you can see the relation between class 10 and class 11. Quadratic equation, yes. AP, GP, yes. Inequation also. Remember that linear inequation which was taught. So these are the chapters on algebra, and you are going to get 24 marks from algebra. Binomial theorem, sequence and series, geometrical progression, trigonometrical function, algebra, just induction, quadratic equation, permutation and combination, inequation. Now let us move on to coordinate geometry. So this one is done. 24 marks. Now coordinate geometry. Now from geometry, 8 marks you are going to get, 8 marks. So you can expect 3 questions, one for 2, one for 4 and one for 2 marks. That means 3 questions. Now from geometry, there are 2 topics which you need to prepare. One was already taught in class 10, that is equation of a straight line. Equation of a straight line. So doing this chapter will be fun for you, because first of all you have already done it, and second, you can relate so many things. You can calculate, see, they will ask you to find out the slope, then we have, what do we call, they will tell you to find the equation of a straight line, then angle between the 2 straight lines. There are certain things which they have added, intercept form, all those will be required. And next is circles. Circles, this you have not done it, so you will be doing in class 11. So these 2 chapters, centroid is there, it comes under straight line only, so that's not a problem. So these 2 chapters will be the part of geometry, so that is going to give you 8 marks. And next is calculus. Calculus, as I have already told you, calculus means derivative and integration, and maximum weightage of marks in class 12 will be from calculus. But in class 11, you just have to understand the basics. Basics mean you need to understand what is the meaning of limit, then derivative of simple functions. Then we learn tangent, application. We have to learn application of derivative, few things which you have to, these are the basics of calculus. And finally, the final topic for section A is statistics and probability. This is also a continuation of class 10. Remember in class 10 you did the mean, median, mode, so that is what we are going to do. And the best part about statistics is scoring, first of all, and you can see that statistics is there in section A also and in section C also. So more or less it's same, all those mean, median and mode. And probability, which we have already done in class 10, just there are few topics which they have added, which you have to learn. So this is an overview of section A. So let me just summarize section A for you all. So once again, first of all, the first thing you need to understand is section A previously was 80 marks. Now it has been brought down to 65. Reason 20 marks is project. So I hope that is clear. Next, from that 65, we have the council has divided the 65 marks into small units. So there are, for section A, there are 5 units. I have explained in detail the chapters which you need to learn, because unless and until you know which chapter comes for how much marks, it will be very difficult for you to cover the entire syllabus. So that is what I feel. I want the students to understand the distribution of marks properly, so that you can concentrate on the chapters with maximum weightage. Okay, so that is section A for you. Now section B, you can either do section B or you can do section C. Section B, conic section, we have parabola, ellipse, hyperbola. Introduction of 3-dimensional geometry means, it's like, see, in class 10 we have done a point has 2 coordinates, x coordinate and y coordinate. 3 dimension means x, y and z. The formulas are going to be same, it's just that an extra coordinate will be added. Then mathematical reasoning, and from section C you got statistics. I've already told you what is statistics, mean, median, mode, all those ogive parts, mode, histogram, correlation analysis. This is also there in class 12, so it will be helpful for you. And this is index number and moving average. So this is also easy, calculating the average and index number. So this is regarding the distribution of marks for class 11 mathematics. So just have a look. So we got 3 sections, A, B and C. B is 15, C is 15. There's a choice between B and C. So we are done with the distribution of marks. So before I end my class today, I just want to tell you few things. Number one is you can see there's a connection between 10 and 11. There are certain topics which you have already done in class 10, and it's just that in class 11 we are going to study it in a more elaborate manner. And there are certain topics which you will be doing for the first time. Like, there are very interesting topics like I've already told you, permutation and combination, induction. These are all abstract. Abstract means, like, see, there are two type of there are two concepts. One is like, see, abstract means you need to reason it out, you need to understand, and there is one practical where you memorize the formula and you solve the question. But you will see there's the difference, there's a huge jump between 10 and 11. 10 was basically knowing the formula and just substituting the values, whereas in class 11 there are chapters which you need to deal it in a different way. That means abstract algebra. Abstract algebra means you need to reason out, you need to understand, there has to be reason, there's no solution at all, you need to reason out. When I say x belongs to natural number, you must understand that x can take any value from 1 to infinity. So these are very, very important topics which we will be doing for class 11. So I guess this is the end of the slide. So next class I'll be starting with a topic on class 11. So I hope you'll be there to watch the video, and thank you so much.